We're active.
You're active, I am not yet.
First time trying to do something like this, and I can see notifications coming up on there, but I'm sure that's fine.
Mine says stream health good. Streaming twice in one day. Like, that's pretty impressive for me.
Especially since you've moved a whole 30 yards.
It's true. It's different location. 360 camera out in the playing room, and now we're doing a quiet-ish room. There's a lot of loud people out that way. But yeah, so what are we talking about today, Andrew?
Well, we had a little meeting the other week, didn't we, with one of our clients. We had a conversation with them, talking about ideas, other projects that we could do, and we thought, you know what, the whole social side of things for developers has got a bit, I don't know, not so good. A place like LinkedIn, everyone signed up on there pretty fast. Now it's just become a place where we get hounded by recruiters a lot of the time. Well, we can talk a bit more about that in a minute, I'm sure. GitHub, great place when you're doing your work and showing that you actually know what you're doing as such, but it's not exactly a platform that people go to learn from each other and find best practices. Well, yeah, there's no best practice there. We can talk more about that as well, I'm sure. But yeah, so we wanted to think of a new way of trying to get a developer community together. What sort of things are developers interested in? Is there a membership scheme? Should it be an invite-only type thing? Why would developers want to go somewhere different to do things? What would entice them there? So yeah, I guess that's what we're going to talk a bit about and see if we can come up with a few ideas. We've got the whiteboard behind us.
Yeah, we plan to draw on this. Platform for developers. None of this LinkedIn for recruiters shit. Pardon my French. Can we swear on a live stream? No, get like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think we're okay. Yeah, well, I probably should set the rating to 18 plus or something.
I'm not going to swear that much.
It's going to be one of those channels, but we can bleep things out. That'll be all right.
How is, I wonder how the audio is. Everyone watching, how's the video and the audio? Can people hear us? Because on my screen, the video looks really choppy. So I don't know how it is.
Yeah, I mean, the streams look like they're working, but...
Looks like it's working, but it's just very jumpy. I don't know if it's the upstream or the downstream.
You need a new laptop, that's what it is.
Probably is a laptop.
We're talking about developers and all the rest of it, and he's on this shoddy old laptop.
It's because I got these awesome stickers, I don't want to lose them. So,
cool, so
let's get started.
You can draw on the whiteboard?
Let's draw, let's do it, let's get serious. I've got my GitHub hoodie on. You can see my GitHub link. GitHub, open source.
I think they might need to zoom in a bit more to be able to read that.
Okay, open source. So yes, taking it seriously, but we want everyone's input because you're in the tech industry if you're watching, not necessarily have to be a developer, but we're quite keen to get your input. So my favourite open source platform for developers.
So effectively in the middle we have this new thing, right? We don't know what it is yet, and there's our new thing, this is our idea. Right?
It's true, this is our idea. Okay, cool. I'm watching the chat, no one's writing anything yet. Everyone write, hey, if you're here, or write open source, just let us know that you can hear us and you can see us. New platform, developer platform.
And obviously there's some existing
data, like we could use some APIs.
There's existing platforms that people go to when they're looking for jobs, they're trying to meet other individuals that are in the tech industry, whatever industry, but LinkedIn is obviously a big one that everyone, no matter what industry they're in, goes to.
True, the downside of LinkedIn, as you're writing that, I was going to say, the downside of LinkedIn is, I could write, I'm like the President of the United States, but it's not true, and people write a lot of shit on LinkedIn. So that's why I don't use LinkedIn, I don't put a lot of information on there, and when hiring, I really don't like to really use it. I think it's bullshit. Whereas something like GitHub, you've written up here, it's so hard to lie. It is what it is,
it's
right?
the other extreme, right? It gives you everyone's truth, apart from the private projects. Obviously you can have private projects up there, and if people are doing that, that's up to them, I guess, and they can publish up activity and that stuff. But what it doesn't give you then is the connection to a wider network so easily, because people don't really follow people on GitHub so much.
Yeah, it's true. If you're not following me, follow me, but and follow Andrew as well. But you're right. It's social coding, but it's not.
It's not a social environment that people connect at a let's talk outside of this level.
True.
It's when people are doing the work or they've got an interest in another project and they go, oh, that project looks interesting, I might want to use that on my stuff. And perhaps then they find that you're a main contributor on that project and go, I want to follow that person because they're one of the main people involved. Great, okay, so that kind of sets a need, but it's the kind of polar opposite to LinkedIn where people sign up. I might have met someone down at an event and they come and find me on LinkedIn because LinkedIn seems to promote you. Whereas I don't go to any events really and find people, unless it's a hackathon. Go to hackathons and obviously you're working on projects and then people might follow you from the hackathons. But not so much that environment. So is there a blend somewhere in the middle? Is that what we're talking about?
I think so. I think you hit the nail on the head. We want to get some information from here, more than social stuff, because you've got the feed of people posting pictures, being at events and all that sort of stuff. But we also want to validate what they put on their LinkedIn, I guess, from GitHub. And then add some more value, maybe again. So it's combine value and add value, I think. You're right.
So we want this new platform to pull your experience, your projects. So it says this validates your experience. And then over here, LinkedIn, I mean, if we can pull in your connections perhaps, so you can start rebuilding a new set, so we can bring in connections. What else would be useful from somewhere like LinkedIn? What would be something that the new platform could benefit from existing platforms with?
That's true. So here is experience. So experience, like the activity, which we can get from GitHub. Then LinkedIn connections. Yes, you're right.
The biggest downside to connections on LinkedIn for me is that there's a lot of recruiters these days that seem to make out that they're involved in tech, and you see these invites from people and it says on there, oh, CTO for this or developer whatever, but actually it just means they're someone that recruits developers. And
true, or they say consultant now, they don't say recruiter, they say consultant, and you go, like a developer consultant? No, it's a recruitment consultant.
So you're always on LinkedIn now. You have to go and look at their profile, try and look at their history and go, is this actually someone I want to connect with? Because if you look at my LinkedIn, or if anyone has access to my LinkedIn and looks at people I'm connected to, I think there may be 5 recruiters that I'm connected to. I try to remove and ignore them. The only ones I keep are either recruiters that I will use if I'm looking to hire people myself, or perhaps they're recruiters that have helped me get a job in the past. But I don't just add any old recruiter on there because it just dilutes the people I want to talk to and engage with.
True, and your LinkedIn feed will get busier. Not anyone really follows that. You might occasionally have a rough flick through. But I think what would be good is developers want to hire developers directly as well. Yes. We want to not cut out recruiters 100%, but 90%.
So you want from this new platform to build a network of co-workers. Yeah.
Just to fill people in who have joined, they're asking what we're doing. We're coming up with some ideas on how we can maybe build a new platform for developers that maybe combines most of its data from GitHub and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, people can write whatever they want on there, but the connections is quite useful because people don't use GitHub for connections, but GitHub validates people's experience and what they can do and their collaboration and their attitude. So maybe we're thinking of this new platform, it's got 3 question marks, we don't know what the name is, developer platform. We want to try and combine the best of both and maybe have somewhere where people can find jobs, people can find developers if they want to hire them, because working with recruiters sucks. Let's call it what it is, right? If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a bleeping duck.
But with this question mark, if you're watching the stream, please drop ideas for names up, because
True. Developer X. Right.
Or Project X, I guess, but that's probably taken 30 times over.
Yeah, 100 times over, absolutely.
Yeah. So the new platform is going to provide us out, maybe I should change how that's written, we want to go a bit more spider diagram, right? Okay. So it's going to build up a network. So one of the things we get is a network. Let's write this in big, because otherwise you're never going to be able to read it on the live stream.
That says network, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's in English?
Yes.
Okay, good, just checking.
If you want to translate this while we're doing it, go for it. And so one of those things for your network is going to be, let's say, co-workers, people that you currently work with or people that you would work with again. And you might want to perhaps rate those, your own rating for them privately maybe, remind yourself these were people that were good to work with. Is that useful?
So a private thing or a public thing?
I don't know, I mean if this is part of your network for you, so you might publicly say these are people that I've worked with in the past, I want to work with, would you publicly rate them I don't know. So maybe there's a question mark there. Is that something that should be made public? Because then this particular individual, are they getting visibility to other people of being told this person's rubbish, or visibility said this guy's fantastic? If anyone that's being told you're rubbish, I don't want to work with you again, how do they break out of that in the future? Because maybe this is a time-led thing. So you say, okay, we hold on to the rating for 6 months, and then it gets reset. Maybe it's a short-term rating, because there's a danger of rating people that people get better. Don't get me wrong. I've worked with plenty of shit people over there. Also, we're not supposed to swear. I've worked with plenty of people that are not very good. But if you go back 3 years later and work with them, they might have changed.
True, but I think with skills you can teach people skills, but attitude you can't. Attitude is more important. That's less likely to change.
So maybe we're looking at different things. So when it comes to this rating,
just to jump in there, because on LinkedIn you can rate people on JavaScript or Java or whatever. So you can do that, and we can get that from LinkedIn. So we need to do something a bit more, and you can do recommendations on LinkedIn. We need something a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
Are you keeping an eye on your chat, by the way?
Yeah, the chat's quiet on my side. In fact, everyone's...
No, I think yours is spinning. Yours doesn't load. Refresh the page, maybe? I think upstream's okay, your downstream's not. Had some technical issues, it took an hour to get set up.
And we can't really get too upset. We're in the WeWork office. They're on a high-speed Wi-Fi, but nevertheless, network goes...
Yeah, it's saying the voice is crackling. Rupesh, thanks for the feedback. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. How's the audio now? I probably put the bitrate on the video too high. I don't think I can change it midstream. This is kind of like partly a test stream.
It's a bit of a trial and error on this one.
Yeah, we're planning to do more of these. Not necessarily on this project, but on other ones. And my computer is dying. Yeah, I can't edit it, I don't think, midstream. Oh, yes, I can. Maybe I can.
Basically, we have loads of ideas at the moment of different projects. As I said, we went to a meeting last week. We had a great client meeting, and during that client meeting we were talking about projects that they want to do and ideas for that, but also just general other projects that we could do. So we thought it'd be a great idea to live stream some of the conversation and how can we evolve this idea into something that maybe we're going to build, or maybe someone on this stream decides they want to try and have a stab at doing something with it. We're not precious as such. Whatever comes out of it will differ depending on who does it. But yeah, we're going to talk about ideas. So anyway, carry on.
So we were saying skills and attitude. Yeah, because skills we can see from GitHub. Attitude you can see maybe on comments. So what about...
So what about if I know somebody that I want to bring into this? Because obviously there's co-workers and they may be on here and we connect in a LinkedIn style way. Do we want to have an invitation type platform to this? Does that bring something?
Yes, because the networking co-workers, we can get the information from LinkedIn, but to come to our platform, maybe we do it invite only, as in everyone can invite one person a month or something. Like that. We stagger it out.
Should it be invite only?
What does everyone think? An invite only platform where people can only invite one person only, therefore we keep mainly recruiters out, people who just want to join, like create a GitHub account with no activity, and then join just to kind of, to be like vultures on developers, which we don't want, right?
What I'm going to add to this board is, what about, I've built my network, and now I've got my teams that I would work with again. Is this a network or a platform that can not necessarily do recruitment, but people can advertise on in some sense? Now, how do they advertise without it being annoying like LinkedIn is a question.
But if it's a developer advertising,
they're advertising projects or something.
If it's a developer advertising, I think it's immediately going to be less annoying for so many reasons. One, because it's going to be truthful. Two, it's going to be kind of more technical rather than just the usual BS. We want these 100 skills, and you've got to have 20 years experience in React or something, which has only been around for, not anywhere near as long as that. So, I've got some more questions. Can you please text me what's happening? Rupesh, can you not hear us? Is the sound that bad? Can you not? Due to a voice crack, I'm not able to understand.
So advertising projects might be one thing.
Okay, apparently the sound's really crackling. Let me reduce the bitrate some more.
Yeah.
That's really, really annoying. Stream, I've reduced it to 4,000. I don't know if I can reduce it anymore.
I wonder how's the stream on Twitch looking? For the people on Twitch, any comments? There's a few people there. Can you hear us? Video okay? So we're streaming to two places here. Eddie's streaming to his YouTube and I'm streaming to my Twitch. So look me up at Andrew Cunliffe on Twitch, or likewise Eddie Jowd on YouTube.
Yeah, sorry, we're using new kit today, the new rooms, so we're trying to work out lighting and sound and all the rest.
Different devices and all the rest, yeah. What's the best platform for this?
So just bear with us. So I've tweaked the, Rupesh, I've tweaked the bitrate down a bit, so I'm hoping the audio is a bit better and shouldn't be crackly. Anyone else having audio issues? I don't know if it's your connection or our connection. If someone else in the stream could just say how the audio is and how the video is. The video is smooth, and that'd be really appreciate it. And then we can try and tweak the settings a bit more. We're going to try and make this a weekly thing, so feedback on the tech stuff will be really, really useful. But let us know, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, Rupesh, let us know, and I can repeat what we're doing as well.
So there were two things you mentioned. So we said advertising when I said projects, and you mentioned advertising to what, friends, co-workers?
Yeah, I think...
So this is, I'm already at an organisation perhaps, they're building a team, I know some good people, I want to bring them in with me.
You could like recommend them to that. I know this sounds very much like GitHub, but we want it just for the, it's like a LinkedIn, but it's because it's solely for developers. Oh, Connor, thanks for joining and thanks for confirming the sound is good.
Sounds good, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Rupesh, hopefully, I don't know, maybe try and get closer to the Wi-Fi and just see if you can use a different Wi-Fi or something. Maybe it's just you. So just to recap for Rupesh and Connor who just joined one last time. Big fan of open source, both are, me more so. I'm convincing Andrew.
Only because he's wearing the jumper.
Yes. It says it on my hoodie, open source. So we're thinking, right, I hate LinkedIn. Do you hate LinkedIn?
I'm not a fan of it these days. No, I've removed pretty much everything on my LinkedIn profile. I used to give all my history, information on projects. Now, if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll basically just see my current job, founder for Venzro, my company, and that's pretty much all you'll see on there now. But that's mostly because it's just become a bit of a nuisance. There's just, you get loads of messages from recruiters saying you're looking for work, or on the other side of, are you hiring at the moment? And, yeah.
It's just noise from LinkedIn. So, hey, Mr. Factman, what did I say? Factman, sorry. Long day. So, yes, so LinkedIn is a real pain. I don't know, what does everyone else think? Does everyone else think LinkedIn kind of sucks, as in it's just spam, get irrelevant jobs, get 100 of them per day that don't even make any sense? Or like I said before, hey, we need this new technology, but you've got to have 20 years experience in it. Hey, wait a second, I thought it was new. So we love GitHub, we love open source, we love GitHub. But the problem with GitHub, it hasn't got that, it's social coding, but it hasn't got that kind of, the connections part. Yes, you can follow people, but people don't use it so much. Follow me, by the way, on GitHub. So we were thinking of maybe this new platform, we don't know what we're going to call it yet, hence why the question marks, Developer X, because Project X, Developer exists. And the idea is, maybe we can get some of the useful information from LinkedIn, get lots of useful information from GitHub, add some more useful information, and have this platform just for developers. Potentially with invite only, maybe each person gets one invite per month.
What about, let's go to the other side, knowledge share, because that's another thing that we haven't spoken much about, because we're talking about getting experienced people that you've worked with before, that you want to work with again. So is there an element of knowledge share that this platform can bring?
Knowledge share is another actually really useful one. Just had some stuff in some comments in the chat. Tucker says, yep, spammy, irrelevant, exactly, yep. I've reduced, as Andrew said, I've reduced my LinkedIn massively to literally hardly any information because I was getting literally thousands. You know at the top right, when you get the red numbers, they were overlapping each other because they were just huge digits. And then Mike, hi Mike, thanks for joining. Not a single employer has responded to me on LinkedIn after applying. I think it's because they also get so many noise, like the employers, because we hire people too, and we have clients and we hire on their behalf. But there's so much noise coming in that I think LinkedIn is a platform for recruiters.
It is, and if you actually talk to recruiters, so we've spoken to a few recruiters, right?
Yeah.
To actually become, let's say, a recruiter on LinkedIn, you have to pay a fee.
Serious money.
I think it's 50,000 a year, right? I think it was.
I think it starts like 12 or something. But you can, if you want more features, you've got to pay a lot more.
But that then gives you them all sorts of information about you, your network. I mean, they can basically just go on there and purchase your background and everything about you. And it was quite scary when they showed us what information they can see.
True, yeah.
It really was. They knew everything from this 50,000 quid a year. They could basically just know who you are, what you've done, who you've worked with, and so forth. And then the other thing they can do is they can buy slots. So they buy slots and they say, I want to have 3 slots to advertise through. And they might be advertising on those slots or they might not be. And that seems to be how the recruiters work. But they're the ones paying for it. You as a user on LinkedIn, you're not paying anything. It's for free.
That's why LinkedIn loves recruiters, because they're the ones that are paying the money for the platform. Us as developers on there aren't paying for it. And we've been told that you have to have a LinkedIn profile, which I disagree. If I get a CV and it hasn't got a LinkedIn profile, I don't give a shit. But if it hasn't got a GitHub link, I'm a bit more concerned. So we were trying to combine the two platforms and get some of the information.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. I mean, there's other platforms as well, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of others. I mean, take things like, was it checkertrade.com? They're another one out there that perhaps they're trying to fill a void in the middle as well. I'll mention them because they've probably got some interesting things to think about. I have no idea. I mean, Checkertrade, that's obviously much more around plumbers, builders, and that kind of industry. So I suppose we almost want to do a bit of a Checkertrade for developers, maybe. That's kind of what we're saying. We're trying to build a network, and there should all be people that are good people, would be quite happy to say, I'm going to go to this platform, and I'm going to go and find people to build a team from. But I'm not a recruiter, I'm someone with a job, but I'm perhaps a lead developer on a team, whatever it is. But I can make recommendations through here, and we can cut the recruiters. I mean, these agencies and these recruiters, they're taking 15-20% on top of everything.
Of your money.
And that's money that, if you're able to go in directly, you could negotiate more, get better salaries, all the rest of it. I mean, who wants recruiters really involved? So we can build a platform that can cut away from that.
Yeah, where developers can hire developers. Because when a recruiter puts you forward, they haven't got your best interests at heart. Obviously, they want you to get the job so they can get their money.
Of course.
But they don't know anything. If you say, I got 10 years of Java, then they don't know if that's true. So the other person on the other side, of having been on the other side a lot, we take a lot of what the recruiter says is 95% shit. So
all that ends up doing is you end up, as the person looking for someone, having to interview all these people, not knowing what you're going to get either, because there's no kind of qualification there that says this is going to be good, this is going to be bad. You get these online tests, and I've seen a few recently come through my way from recruiters saying, oh, we've just had this new person, they've come back and they've got these test scores, and you look at them and you go, well, great, and you look at some of the questions, because some of them recently are even showing the questions. You look at those questions and you think, well, to be fair, if this person didn't get basically 100%, I wouldn't even want to go near them full stop. You're asking the real kind of basic, silly stuff really, nothing real world. It's all kind of stuff that I could, if I'm on the computer doing it, I could open up in Google and find in 2 seconds flat. There's no kind of questions there that show any depth of knowledge, any real background experience, and that's a big problem. So how can we reduce some of that? So yes, okay, we might recruit people, we might look for jobs as well, so, but what would a group of people want from something like this?
You got me thinking in that we're throwing up lots of ideas on the board now. If you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see as someone who hires or someone who's looking for a job, like Mike said, that he's contacted people on LinkedIn and got nothing back. So maybe because Mike, was there a specific role, or were you just contacting companies because you like to work for those companies? Because if we can have this platform, you can see other developers who are looking to hire people, and that would be really, I think, be useful. We'll narrow it down to like a minimum viable product, but for now, let's just throw ideas up and see what we can come up with. You gave me an idea and I forgot. Yeah, the whole skills and attitude. I wonder if we can automate that rather than rating someone. I wonder if the platform can look at, for attitude, for example, can look at GitHub and do sentiment analysis with machine learning on the comments and pull requests. So if someone who writes comments like, oh, this is crap, I don't want to accept this PR, then you don't want that type of person to work in your organisation. But if someone's like, oh, I like it, but I think you can make more improvements, have you thought about doing this, just a polite way, then I think that have the right attitude.
I mean, there's definitely a future there with these, and I'll add it to this sentiment, because it is kind of an attitude thing, that. But if that's a machine learning thing, then that's something we can just add to the platform. So you can start with a basic attitude, I don't know, voting on this person. I've worked with them before. Their attitude was good.
Or just something really simple.
And then
yes.
later on, you could start.
Would you recommend this person? Thumbs up, thumbs down. A bit like on the YouTube videos. I've only
Swipe right, swipe left, yeah?
that someone got sued for doing that on the project, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes. Naomi sent me some information.
Okay.
So apparently they're trying to trademark that as theirs. So we might have to think a bit about that. Swipe up, swipe down.
Surely you can't trademark something as simple as swiping on a phone. I mean,
I don't know. But talking about thumbs
I have
up.
added one more, sorry,
Oh,
just quickly, I'll interrupt you. If they are advertising, we want companies to advertise, not recruiters. When you mentioned a moment ago, why are you contacting companies? Generally, companies don't want to be contacted, but recruiters do. So maybe we need to look at having companies be the only ones that can advertise. And how do we qualify them as companies?
About developers.
Yeah,
It's just, cut out companies. If you work for a company and they're hiring, you can post a job on their behalf. Therefore, when you apply to a developer. So therefore, you can have that technical discussion. Right? Cut out all the middle people, I think, as well. We've got 8 people watching, and we're talking about thumbs up, thumbs down. Do give us a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And also, don't forget to check out Andrew's YouTube channel. And he's streaming on Twitch at the moment because he busted his YouTube. But he's doing Angular best practice videos, really professional ones on his YouTube. You do check it out.
We're just starting on that stream, but there's going to be more coming out. It's been a bit of a false start so far because there's been suddenly a load of work that came in, which is a bit of a new thing. But hey, yeah, there'll be a load more on that stream coming very soon.
Angular best practices, or test-driven development, automated testing, all that stuff. Go have a look. He's put like an agenda of what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's going to grow into kind of a full stack JavaScript tutorial, get started. But from a real world perspective as well, it's not just going to be a standard tutorial.
I need to write this board. I haven't written anything yet, but I think let's remove no recruiters, no companies allowed to post. What do you reckon? Is that too extreme? Maybe we can start with that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm thinking cut out the middleman type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make the direct connection. If the direct connection is always going to be through another developer, word of mouth, maybe. I mean, we could start with that and see where it goes.
I think so.
Maybe grow into the companies, but do it in some kind of controlled fashion. Because obviously people could try and fake who they are, but we can do lookups on.
They could. We could look at their activity. Let's like gamify it. For them to post a job as a developer, they not only have to have a GitHub account, because they probably log in with GitHub. They have to have a certain activity, as in they've got in the last, I don't know, 6 months done 100 contributions, which is pretty easy to do. Most people have. I mean, what sort of contributions do people have on GitHub now? Do shout out in the chat. But maybe I don't know what the number is. I'm saying 100, but there's a number over a period of date. Therefore, to post a job, maybe there's criteria for everything, right? To be invited, you've got to have certain criteria to get invited.
Well, maybe this just initializes an invite, so someone can almost recommend somebody else and say, I recommend this person into the platform, and they have to maybe provide their GitHub account or whatever. We can go look them up, check them out, and then say, yep, they've passed everything that's needed, we'll send them an invite.
Yeah, and then to post a job, you've got to have the next level up of activity.
Yeah, but okay, so that's a developer posting a job though, right? Okay, so we'll focus on the developer posting a job.
I think so. I think we focus. It's a platform by developers for developers. I think.
That knowledge stuff on the side there is kind of looking on it a bit on its own. We'll talk a bit more about knowledge sharing.
Okay, let's do that. Before you just do that, to answer this, Mike's replied to us and says the most search is for front-end web development, and then apply that way. Mostly easy apply because there's just so many job postings to choose from. So they're actual job postings, and you don't hear back from them on LinkedIn. So maybe, again, because there's probably so many people in the middle, right? The recruiter who posted the job is passing on to the company. The recruiter might be expecting the company to reply, and the company might be expecting the recruiter to reply, and then no one replies, right? It's like if you shout to everybody, you're not going to get an answer. But if you speak to one person, you're more likely to get a reply because they feel responsible to reply. So maybe by having a platform for developers by developers, and developers posting a job with a certain criteria, then maybe that way you're going to get that sort of reply. And maybe you can rate the job posting. But was it a good? Maybe it's just crowdsourcing.
I'm trying to remember, when you send messages on LinkedIn, does it tell you if people have read them or not? I can't remember.
Usually it does. Normal messages are, but when you apply for a job, maybe not.
Right, yeah, because there's an application form on there, isn't there? So it'd be good to know that someone at least has reviewed your application, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Tucker's just come up with a really good point. We've got Stack Overflow as well. I have a love-hate relationship with Stack Overflow because a lot of data on there is out of date. But still,
there's a lot of experience and
knowledge.
If people have had lots of thumbs up.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So Tucker, thank you very much. Rupesh still doesn't get the agenda. Sorry, Rupesh. How's your audio? So just to really quickly recap, we're talking about coming up with ideas for an open source platform for developers by developers to cut out recruiters and companies, because people who look for a job struggle to find the right job. And for people like us we do look for jobs occasionally, but a lot of the time we are hiring for our clients and we struggle to find good people who are busy on GitHub, on Stack Overflow, on YouTube, joining these streams. And we want to try and connect those people. So yeah, we've got 8 people watching now. I'm already immediately interested in you, because you're being proactive in your own time, looking at streams, getting involved in the community. So yeah, I think we need to somehow, the idea is to combine those. Did I explain that kind of well? It's a bit rough around the edges.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're talking now, right? We're trying to figure out where are some of the rough edges. Has this got legs? I mean, we all sounded like it was quite good. I mean, we also talked about other things like, is this a membership-based platform as well? So if you've got this knowledge element, is there some kind of membership thing we could go on?
We could do something like giffgaff. Do you know the story of giffgaff?
Go on, say it again.
So let me say for everyone watching.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the story of giffgaff, the idea is, so it's building on this membership. So if people contribute back to the platform, I don't know how or what yet, but let's just...
That's why it's under the knowledge sharing, right?
They contribute knowledge sharing or whatever it is, then they get points. If they don't get enough points, they want the pro membership, they have to pay for it.
Is that starting to cross into Stack Overflow a bit? But go on, carry on.
No, because Stack Overflow you can't pay.
No,
so
you can't.
If someone wants to be part of this and has passed all the criteria, and they've got an active Stack Overflow, got an active GitHub, so they've passed the criteria, maybe, and they want that pro membership for whatever pro membership gives you, I don't know yet, they have to pay. But if they want it for free, they can just contribute to the platform, like in a knowledge share or whatever.
So I might do code reviews, right? So,
exactly, yes.
So code reviews is a really simple one, and maybe you can almost do a bounty saying, look, I've written this bit of code, I'm a small team, there's only 1 or 2 of us, maybe there's 1 senior person, a couple of juniors, and that senior person, whilst they might be confident to a degree, there's certain things they don't know, so maybe within this platform they could go and almost put a bounty up and say, look, I've got this pull request here, I'm looking for someone to do a code review, and you could score points from that. Yeah, maybe there's some kind of gamification there for code reviews, because code reviews to me is something that people always skip over. There's some people that are really good at it, some people are really bad at it, because they'll just go, yep, accept everything without
actually don't look at me when you say that. I never do. Hey, he's lying. I would never do.
I was looking out the window.
He was looking at me. I always put at least one comment. You might just say, looks good to me. Yeah, thumbs up. Merge, accept, deploy to production, break the whole platform. But your PRs are so big. Keep your PRs small. And
they're a mix. It depends on the requirement.
I think you work too hard, for one.
This isn't a stream about me, right? Okay, we're not.
True, but you know, we need to let people know what we're like, right?
Next week there's going to be a toasting session, and
what's a toasting session?
That's what they do over in America, right? Where you sit that person down and they slate them for all the things they do. But it's all done in jest. Roasting, sorry.
Toasting.
I'll get some champagne and bring that out. Sorry.
Roasting.
It's been a long day.
You've got too much beer. No more beer for you. Yes, a roasting session. No.
Yeah.
Andrew works too hard.
Next week.
But I hear on.
I've had more than 3 hours sleep.
Yeah, true. I hear on what people say is that if you do a PR with like 10 lines of code, you're going to get 100 comments. If you do a PR with 100 lines of code, you might get 1 comment. So yeah, the smaller the better. But don't look at me. Okay. I'll get better.
So yeah, there may be things in that, right? So we'd have a
code
membership
review,
thing.
Yeah.
There could be code reviews, sharing knowledge. What else is useful on that side of things?
So people, so Mike was saying he's looking for jobs. What would you like to see in a platform? So if I posted a job, so say I'm on this platform, we don't know what it's called yet. So if I'm on this platform and I've posted a job, what is your criteria? So people are listening. So Mike, you mentioned you applied to LinkedIn, you don't get a reply. So maybe
something about the quality of how many people have been placed by these people.
Maybe how many people have been placed?
How many
people have applied?
How successful has it been?
How many people have applied? Maybe.
Yeah. So I'll put that on for advertising. So we want to know success rate for these adverts.
How successful have the adverts been? are people getting placed by these? And then what was the one you just said? Skip my mind 2 seconds.
How many people applied?
How many people?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Like if this job post has had 1,000 people apply, or something's wrong.
Which is fairly standard on a lot of these platforms.
Yeah, I
right?
think
A lot
so.
of places say there's been 30 applications here. How true those are, I do wonder sometimes. Because you see some jobs and it says there's been 500 people apply for this job, and you go, really? There's 500 people that want to go collecting rubbish?
Yeah, so maybe success rate, how many applications there have been, what else? Who else have we got on the stream? When you're applying for a job, what would you like to see? How's your chat going? Nothing on your chat?
No, it's all quiet.
Okay, that's good.
Well, there are people watching over here, but
okay.
Twitch has always been the quiet one for people talking.
True.
So, unless you want to try and prove us wrong, Twitch, but yeah, the conversations on YouTube are doing better.
Yeah, Andrew's streaming on Twitch, I'm streaming on YouTube. YouTube, we're winning. We've got 4 thumbs up. Let's make it 10. Double figures, 10 thumbs up. Come on. So, yeah, applying for a job, I think, how many applications there have been, and the quality of the job spec, right? Because the job spec might not be great. So, success rate, maybe.
Well, that is a general problem, actually, right? So I actually was asked yesterday, could I put a new job spec together for a new role that they're hiring for?
Okay.
And whenever you put these job specs together, you kind of pick things, and I pick things that generally, this is what I believe this was actually going to be doing. I pass it over, and already I instantly saw that the person that asked for it, ripping it apart and putting a load of fluff around it, and going, and when they go and hire someone now, they're not going to get the person they want.
True.
So is there a way through this platform again of maybe they're prescribed job roles? So you say, I'm looking for a senior Java, Node, Angular, React, whatever it is. I'm looking for this particular role. So could we have pre-built almost?
Oh, pre-built like job specs. Oh, okay, interesting.
Would that be useful? So that people could just say, this is,
So
I want someone
standardised.
can do this, and maybe they could pick a couple of roles and say, I've got a role and it's going to be, I don't know, 50%, or what did I say, 60% React, it's going to be 20% Node, and there's going to be, I don't know, 20% of requirement management or something. So you can allow them to almost build a job spec out of some predefined stuff, and then that will just give you a single template that's nice and clean with none of this crap.
That's true. Or when we write 3 years Angular and then HR or the hiring non-technical person puts a 0 at the end, it's like 30 years Angular. It's like, wait a second, it hasn't been around that long. But had a couple of good comments here. At the very least, to see when my application has been seen and looked through. So maybe the person who posted the job has to accept or reject the application. So it's just not.
There's nothing that forced them to do that, though, right? So so you can do it based on has it been opened, right? So we say they've seen it, it's been opened, and then the next step is did they actually take it forward or reject it from
Has it been seen, I suppose?
So there's the kind of has it actually been seen? But even then, you can't guarantee they've read it. They might have just opened it. It's a very difficult one. That
they might have just opened it. Let me think. There must be some criteria. They can't post a new job posting until they've accepted or approved everybody who's pending off the previous job posting. So maybe a bit harsh, but they've got to.
You can start with the harsh line. I mean, I like to start with the harsh line.
Yeah.
Like people hate two-factor authentication. If I create a GitHub organisation, I force GitHub two-factor authentication from day one, and I wait until people have moaned enough to then say, do I let up on that?
If
Generally, no. But
yeah, if it's just one person who just can't be asked to two-factor authentication, then tough. That one person needs. It's usually a non-technical person as well.
Okay, so must.
Why Andrew's writing that?
I'm going to say they must be in good standing from previous posts. Job
Yeah,
posts.
we need to.
there might be some balance that says, okay, we allow you to have 5 job postings, and from that 5, you have to respond to 80% of things. Because realistically, can you ask?
I think you can do it.
We're saying yourself. We'll start with 100%, but we're just going to. I'm going to
Okay.
say they have to be in good standing from previous.
Let me read out some of these comments as well. Seen and looked through, yeah, so it's really good, Connor. We agree. That's on the board now. Mike says it's not clear exactly what they want on the resume. Also, there are conflicting opinions on what should go in the portfolio itself. Some say build a website, others say, well, make an app. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah, so part of that job spec has to be a bit more about the background of the role as well, right? Is it going to be a greenfield project, a brownfield project, some of that kind of stuff? Yeah?
So maybe, yeah, a template would work really well. People can only pick from 5 different templates.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can pick 5 background items and 5 skill items or something.
Exactly.
So you have a range of skill items, this items, and then maybe a little slide that says it's heavy on this side,
Yes,
light on this side or something.
exactly.
But they can only pick a few things because there's no way. I mean, I've seen job specs before now, and it lists out like 300 skills. And you look at it and you go, there is no one in the world that does maybe half of that, let alone all of it.
Yeah.
It's just, they're insane, some of the things that people expect.
It's crazy.
And also, I suppose I'm going to take it a step further, based on what they've put in there, can we look at market rates as well? To start proposing this is the kind of range that job
That'd
should
be really
should
good.
be worth.
A bit like a right move.
Yeah, because some people are a bit unrealistic on that as well.
True.
I mean, we do contract work for people, we have our own companies as well, and all the rest of it. But whenever I look at job roles that have been posted, I look at some of the stuff that's been written up there, and then I look at how much they're willing to pay, and you go, seriously, you're after someone that can do that, and you're only going to pay that. Well, good luck to you. You're either not going to find anyone, or if you do find someone, they're not. They're not the right
they're
person.
winging it.
So yeah, maybe there's some element here that we can actually.
Yeah, get some, and it will help with another passion of mine, which is gender pay gap.
Yeah.
So it will help with issues like that. So I'm sure we can get that information from somewhere. I think that'd be really, really useful. And then Rupesh writes, Eddie, for LinkedIn jobs portal, how much you will rate out of 10? Rupesh, are you saying that they have that now, or are you saying we should pull the information from LinkedIn? I don't think I want to pull job postings from LinkedIn because they're going to be recruiter shit job postings. I'd rather have our own.
Yeah, we're not necessarily looking to charge people. We're looking for people to be in good standing. It's
Yeah,
it's not going to be reputation based, right?
Yes.
I think that's going to be in the middle here. There's going to be reputation here.
reputation and
And
quality.
it's reputation for everyone. Reputation for the developers that are on here, and reputation for the people that want to try and find people through it.
That's a really good idea. And maybe when you invite someone, the person you invite, their reputation has an effect on your reputation. So take, for example, if I've got a reputation of...
You're building a network and they're linked to you.
Exactly. So maybe, I don't know what the mathematical calculation is, but just to reiterate that idea, if I've got a reputation of amazing, say for example, just for simplicity, 100%, and I invite Joe Blogs and they've got a reputation, end up having a reputation of, they've made the criteria to come in, but people rate them down, they hate working with them, then that affects me. Therefore, I only want to invite people, rather than my friends saying, hey, can you invite me? I really want to get in there. They've got to be good, right? And good, I don't just mean technically, I mean attitude. Attitude is really, really important, I think more than skills. So yes, reputation, right in the middle. Or maybe that's the name for the platform, reputation.io.
Maybe there's something on that.
I don't know.
I can imagine that would be an expensive one to buy. And by now, someone that you just mentioned to has bought it.
Don't buy that! That's us. If you want to do something, give me a thumbs up on the video. What I just do down, give me a thumbs up. Only got 4 thumbs up. Is the stream that bad? It's Andrew, isn't it?
I know I shouldn't be here. He shouldn't bring me to these things.
You're doing the writing. It's good. You won't be able to read my handwriting. That open source took me like 10 minutes to write. So
You wrote the other bit as well.
that took me 20 minutes.
Your
Yes.
turn with the pen, I think.
Okay, so what other ideas have we got? So we've got network, we've got reputation, invite only potentially. Again, we're just spitballing all these ideas. We'll MVP it afterwards and chop it down. Get information from GitHub, Stack Overflow, like Checkatrade. So maybe that's a dotted line.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is a two-way link between some of this knowledge stuff and Stack Overflow, because that is an interesting one. Is there a way of trying to tie the two together a little bit? I don't know if that's useful or not. I mean, Stack Overflow, I think a lot of people do believe in it.
I think they do, but I think reputation from Stack Overflow is really good. But a lot of stuff on there is out of date.
There is an issue with the date of things, yeah. I mean, I was looking stuff today, in fact, and I thought I found some answers, and they were from, I don't know, 2010, 2011. Yeah, and I went to then try and use it, and obviously all deprecated, removed, no longer valid, and there's nothing that says this is old now, so keeping things for a period of time I think is important.
That's true actually, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. And no one can come along and say this is no longer any use.
Yeah, that's true. So Rupesh, I just replied to you in the chat. we didn't answer your question. I'm sorry, we didn't quite understand it. Could you ask again, and we'll try and address it.
You probably want to think about wrapping.
So yeah, any other more ideas we want to include before we kind of call it a day? It's just really just a first step, just to really throw loads of ideas out there.
We may continue a little bit on this on another stream. I don't know.
We'll have to see what the engagement is.
We'll obviously take a picture of this. We'll draw it up. Maybe even put it up on the end of the stream. I'm sure you can put it up as a slide.
Let's take a photo.
Right? Take a picture.
I can't go. I have to go further back.
And then yeah, maybe we can talk a bit further if we think it's still got some legs on it. I mean, what does everyone think so far? So you've got people on the stream. Is there a general yes, this is a good idea, or no, stop now? I assume because people are still watching, they think there's some legs on this.
Yeah, we've got 8 people watching, so 8 people think there may be, or potentially up to 8 people think there's legs on this. So yeah, what do you all think? Do you think having something that's a combination between GitHub and LinkedIn and Stack Overflow, putting that information in, maybe code review? Code review is really good because when people raise pull requests, people don't know where to find it on GitHub because there's so many projects out there. Maybe if you've got someone in your network who's raised a pull request, it can maybe
post it
suggest
to your network and say, look, someone's got a few code reviews open, they're looking for people to look at it. Otherwise, eventually you just end up merging it together. You don't want to sit something there for too long, but if it can flag things up quickly and say...
Or could it notify someone in your network? So if I create a pull request, could it just notify people in my network and say, Eddie's raised a pull request, do you want to review it? Because if I follow the project now, I'll get notified.
Tie back into here, right?
And then someone, if they review it, they get kudos points, like reputation points, right? Both ways. So if you reviewed mine, you get 2, I get 1, for example, or something to that effect. Like points. A bit like Stack Overflow kind of rating. Mike's got a question. Something you could consider is how best to make use if we're asked to join an organisation. Magento invited me after a contribution I made. That was a first. Well, that's quite interesting. Magento invited you. That's really interesting. So that's great. I hope you accepted, Mike. Because then on your GitHub profile at the bottom left, if you make it public, it will show that you're part of the Magento community. And I love seeing that on people's profile. When I see an organisation that is well known, maybe I should make a contribution to Magento.
If you look at both of our profiles, there's probably, I don't know, 10 plus
I've hidden some
organisations that we're connected with. Yeah. Oh yeah, well there's some that you just think they don't do very much.
Yeah, if it's a kind of a well-known one, I'll share it. But that's actually a really good one. So I would say definitely accept it, and you can shout about it on social media. And even when you go for an interview on your portfolio, you contributed to Magento, you got invited to the organisation. I think that's really important. Sorry, say again?
So I was just most of the time I'm nowhere near the camera for you.
Oh,
that's
you're off on the camera. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Good for a start. Good for bouncing some ideas. We'll potentially continue this. We've got a few ideas we're bouncing around.
So we've got your picture. We'll draw this up. We'll think a bit further, and then if we feel there's more to go on this, we might talk a bit further on this subject, or we'll move to another subject. As I said, we're going to roast or toast Eddie, one or the other. And
toast. It's good to have a bit of banter, right? Again, it shows the attitude, right? People need to be able to have a laugh and understand where the line is drawn and so forth.
And I think there's a future in people trying to do things like this on a board, right? Because we talked about it, we had that meeting, we said, right, we should draw this up and come up with some ideas, and then thought, you know what?
Let's share it with everyone and get some feedback.
Let's focus on that open source, be open. And if we do take this further, I'm sure it'll be an open source project as well, so people can come back, contribute to it, and add more thoughts on there. So
absolutely, even raising an issue of ideas would then also be a contribution. It's not just about code contribution. So I think that's really important. So I hope you enjoyed. When we have, as Andrew said, we have lots of project ideas, and we do brainstorm them on the whiteboard.
This is the first time we've done one of these live streams, so it's been a little bit rough around the edges. Sorry, we're not really prepared for it beyond there's going to be a subject, but that's fine. I think that's a good way to start.
Yeah, and did you enjoy being part of our brainstorming session? Would you like to see more of this or less of this? Let us know.
Yeah. And I think we're going to try and do this at least once a week, right, for the next while.
Sorry, say that again.
For the next while, we're going to do this like once a week, right?
Yeah, we'll try and do something like this once a week if people like it.
Yeah, we'll try and maybe stick to for us Wednesday evening. For people watching, it might be middle of the day. But.
Yeah, Wednesday evening, UK time, like 6 o'clock probably. 6 p.m. for GMT. Mike says he did accept it, brilliant. Reviewing pull requests is above me a bit. No, not at all. I think anyone can add value reviewing a pull request. In our previous fintech...
And if anything, you might learn something by reviewing it.
That's
true.
true.
There's two sides to a pull request, right? There's learning stuff. I've looked at pull requests before now and gone, you know what, that's fascinating. Why would you go that way? What's the trigger there? And you go, actually, now I get it. I can see why you've gone that way. And then I might adapt my way of working in the future. So there's two sides to it. There's learning, but there's also saying to people, oh, hang on, but you might have a potential defect here or a performance issue here. Have you thought about this? I mean, I saw some code recently that I was looking at, and they were loading the entire database into memory and then looping through that data. And you think, why are you loading? The database can do the work for you. Why are you loading the whole thing into memory, looping through it to produce something? And the database wasn't a small database, like a 600 meg database in there. They were looping through it, so they were effectively using like 2-3 gig of RAM for one request going through.
For one request, that's crazy.
Whereas you get the database to have done the same work, because there's nothing clever there. Yeah, reduce everything, and I think they were having issues with that falling over, so yeah.
Yeah, so reviewing people's work is really important, not just for the person who's getting their work reviewed, but like Andrew said, for the person doing the reviewing, because you might learn some knowledge transfer. So Mike, definitely review some of those pull requests. And you'll look at it from a different perspective. Yes, someone might have more senior experience, but they're going to be looking at the more complex stuff, maybe ignore some of the more simple stuff that also needs reviewing. So do review it, do put in a comment, don't be scared. And thanks for your kind words. Even if it's just a question, but ask someone, could you explain why you've done this? Yes, that's true.
You might not always get an answer for those ones, don't get me wrong. I mean, if I was getting inundated with those, I probably wouldn't answer all of them, but chances are, if someone's asking why, then I may well answer it. And I might, whilst answering that, realise that there's something unusual there. Even if you didn't know it was unusual, you might have just been wondering why have you done that. When I go and then focus on it further, maybe I'll realise I've done something wrong. And I've seen that as well. There's been plenty of times where someone said, can you just explain this? And I've gone, that's not what I meant to do. I did make a mistake there. I mean, we all make mistakes, no matter how many. I mean, between us, 40 years plus of development in the room, we still constantly get problems. Older? I started coding when I was 10. When did you start?
A lot later. So he's definitely older. You made me think of an idea actually. Consistency when reviewing a pull request. So again, going back to Mike's comment about not having the experience to review some of the Magento pull requests, you could check for consistency. If you see something else done a similar way somewhere else, you could say, well, this is inconsistent with over there, and they might want to align it as part of that pull request, be it that new code or the other code. So look for consistency as well. I think it's really important. So it's great. And Mike, thank you very much for your feedback, saying it looks exciting. And we've got multi white apples. I don't know how to pronounce that. Hopefully I got it right. Saying interesting. So thank you very much. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the stream. But we're going to be coming to an end now. I think it's getting past our bedtime, dinner time for us.
1:30 was our target cut off.
You don't want to see us eat dinner.
We've been here for a good hour now.
So yeah, you don't want to see us eat dinner. We'll make a mess everywhere. But thank you very much for everyone's feedback and thoughts. Do put a comment in the comments after the stream saying if you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, or we'd like to see more ideation. And when we pick a project, we will build it, so you will see some code as well.
But maybe we should do some of these on our current projects as well. We've never actually taken one of our current projects through something like this, right?
That's true.
That could be quite interesting, yeah.
So everyone knows about my open source project, Dashboard Hub, and Andrew's project, Vendra, which he is open sourcing.
I'm currently moving it all to open source, yes. It's getting there. It's been lots of ideas and taking my time. But
and lots of punches as well.
I've been beaten into submission, so...
Open source for the win. So yeah, maybe we should do a Vendra one and do a Dashboard Hub one. Actually, that's a really good idea, actually.
We've both had ideas, we've evolved them over the years, and we've built products out of them.
That's true, yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. And like I said, put a comment with your thoughts below. I'm probably going to call the stream to an end now, and we will see you all soon. And if you saw, I did a stream earlier on with a 360 camera, my first stream with a 360 camera. It was quite interesting. I couldn't share my desktop. I know I'm not showing it now, but it was interesting how people could pan around the room. There isn't much in this room to pan around, so it's kind of a bit boring.
I spent most of my time when I watched that just seeing people play table tennis in the background. I thought the 360 was awesome. I could just watch people playing table tennis. Yeah. You should have done a little challenge. How many people during this stream have played table tennis behind me?
Yeah, that's true actually. I think most people are watching the...
In fact, if you're watching stream, count them and leave a comment how many play table tennis.
And what was the score? Interesting, where can I join for the future? Rupesh, subscribe and you'll get notified when we go live streaming. We'll take some of these ideas to GitHub. So when we do the Dashboard Hub one, I probably will log the tickets in GitHub. Yeah. So they all count as contributions, and people can raise the tickets for us as well to help with your contributions on open source. So yes, this is our first one of this kind, and we're learning, so we really want everyone's feedback. So we really appreciate it, and we enjoy talking open source and so on. And we all look forward to seeing you soon.
Well, we enjoy coming up with ideas too, don't we?
Exactly.
Be them good or bad.
Exactly.
No such thing as a bad idea, though, right?
All ideas are good. If we implement and do them, it's very different. But at least coming up with the idea first is great. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks for joining. Let me end that.